Salute, folks. It's your boy, the insurance junkie, your fiduciary fella, the all-star advisor Alonzo Hall, your social media insurance broker, and I've returned today to whap and tap on your head with another ADH wealth solution. Right now, I was watching a channel that I frequent a lot, the No Regret Show, dropping gems, and he's talking about the greatest wealth transfer because a lot of you fucking idiots sit there and watch dumb shit like crypto and this, that, and the third, thinking you're gonna be in the money. You know, I have a relative who was watching some podcast or something where this guy was like, if you would have started in crypto by now, you would have $483 million. SBF didn't even have $483 million, and he owned one of the largest Ponzi cryptos out there. I'm sure he had more than that, but like my man said, do you personally know anybody who's actually made some money off of crypto? The problem is, especially with black folks, you guys don't understand investing. Number one, investing is not supposed to be done in small increments. It's supposed to be done in large lump sums. Number two, you're supposed to be able to determine the amount of money you make from it on at least a quarterly basis. You shouldn't be like, oh, I made like $1,700. Well, I had a homeboy who I told, listen, don't fuck with Shiba Inu. Oh, man, listen, I know what I'm doing. I've been doing this since 2017. How much have you made? A grand total of $1,700. You mean from 2017 to motherfucking 2022? All you made was $1,700. So basically, you didn't make anything. But what I want to do right now is my man, the No Regret Show, is playing one of the most infamous Ponzi schemers here, the Wolf of Wall Street. And the Wolf of Wall Street is going to break down to you guys why your average person can't invest. And I always say, unless you invest in $25,000 or more in one transaction, you're not investing. And here's why. He's going to break it down to you when you talk about the fees, the taxes, and everything. Watch.
With the S&P 500 and the total stock market index funds.
Reads FTX. Listen, the best thing was interrupted a string of terrible calls. But, listen, he's had a lot of good calls because he's on both sides of the market. He tells you to buy one thing on Monday and sell it on Wednesday and vice versa. This guy literally is telling you, they actually did a study on this where they put up his recommendations of what he said on Monday and then on Friday, the exact opposite. Like one day he's saying the market's going up, next day it's going down, buy this, go from this sector to that sector. That's historically, mathematically, scientifically proven to be the worst possible way to invest your money. They've gone back 100 years, the academic studies, and the analysts can't pick the right stocks. The hedge fund managers and the mutual fund managers can't beat the S&P 500, which is the overall broader market. And there's a reason for that, because all the information is out there. So unless you have inside information, which is illegal, right? And certainly the average person is not going to have that, or some other way to beat the market, whether it's high frequency trade with computers that are lightning fast. So some of the big firms, they'll time the market like a millionth of a second better than an average investor. They get an edge. But everyone else, you can't beat the market. It doesn't work, especially when you deduct all the fees, the commissions, and also the taxes from short-term trading. So let's say a hedge fund returns.
So why would anyone hand money to a hedge fund?
So Warren Buffett asked this exact question back in 2007. Made a big announcement that $1 million. That I don't care whatever hedge fund you are, you can't beat the S&P 500 over 10 years. And at first, no one took the bet. Eventually, someone did with what's called a fund of funds. It was 100 different funds, right? And after year 7. They threw in the towel. They couldn't even come close to the S&P. And that was without...
That makes most sense practically all of the time. And that is to consistently buy an S&P 500 low-cost index fund. Keep buying it through thick and thin, and especially through thin.
Haven't you been hearing the S&P...
So, ladies and gentlemen, here's why I want to continue to be pissed. Because if you get the properly structured index universal life insurance, it's the best of both worlds. right? You get some of the upside of the stock market, none of the downside. So then you have fucking idiots like Dave Ramsey and Sue Zorman telling you buy term, invest the difference, or Primerica. Yet people at Primerica will say some dumb shit like, well, my clients don't have, they're middle to low income, so they really shouldn't have millions of dollars of life insurance, but they should invest. Motherfucker, they can't afford to invest. Jordan Belfort just told you, who's a fucking Ponzi schemer. After you get done paying the money management fees, plus the commissions to your broker, plus the taxes, you end up worse off. So you're better off just getting an index universal life insurance policy, which does all that shit for you, and you get none of the downside, versus hearing people tell you, hey, listen, invest in this, you'll get 10%. Or if you do have the risk tolerance, which most people don't, go ahead and go into an S&P fund. But again, index universal life insurance mirrors the S&P 500. So when the S&P goes up, the cash value in your life insurance goes up. But when, like Warren Buffett said, those thin years, when the S&P 500 goes down, the cash value in your life insurance doesn't go down. It just stays flat. So that way you can actually beat the S&P 500. But keep letting these other motherfuckers tell you this bullshit, and you keep fucking yourself and your family. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, wipe ass. Work in progress every day and see success. Work in progress every day and see success. Work in progress every day and see success. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, when people challenge you, they don't challenge you to challenge you, but they challenge you to challenge you. Accept the challenge. Salute.